Here and the Falcons could be playing on with 4. Yangon Galacticos.
It's a question of what Loxy can do. I like the aggression. I think Regnum Karya Falcons, they were opposite of each other a little bit too long. They said enough is enough. With that down, let's capitalize on it, but it was just a little bit too slow. Falcons were able to recover, but Loxy, the solo from Regnum Karya, can still hurt Falcons tremendously. Let's not forget, Falcons, they are that bubble team. They are right there in 8th place. Their spot in the finals is not guaranteed. There are so many teams nipping on their heels, trying to pass them, trying to knock the home team out, and it's still very doable. So Falcons, this win, a higher placing is critical.
One nade over the top, no knocks. Another, the last in the back pocket for Smile. He's going to invest it here. Ralph is healing, but will it be quick enough? Not quite there, and he does find the knock. Yangon Galacticos unlikely to push out to flush it out though here. They will allow this res to come through. Actually, more nades being passed on over. Smile wants to put this one to bed, but Redox is going for the res. The question is, where does he put it? Could maybe take out Loxy with it instead.
Yangon Galacticos, they don't want to push out there. You've got the unknown Loxy, who you don't know where he's currently at. You know he's in this vicinity. You've also got Falcons ready for you, but for Loxy, trying to do what Silas could not do. Push up and take down the roster with the surprise attack. The nade is cooking. Falcons are pushing. They know where Loxy's at. Shotgun out, but no effect. Regnum Karya are out, and it will be Falcons continuing to push on.
They push out at the end of the chopstick here, and Yangon Galacticos, I think they may be out of nades now. Not really too many more to play with. The nade bobbles in, but Smile's not up at the windowsill. Falcons have to push up, and they have to push now. Alpha 7 getting cut out by the blue zone. Koa first up into the meat grinder, and Yangon Galacticos hold their turn. They draw back and back and back, and every single step they take backwards, they find a player running towards them. They're able to farm up those points and push in toward those top 8. But in the meantime, it's Nogship Red Bulls who have been chilling for the longest time out on the south side.
Top 2, Nogship Red Bulls, a big win would put them comfortably within the top, or potentially getting edging closer to top 3. But anyways, with the point standings, most likely going to the finals. This is imperative, an imperative victory. They take Riyadh Galacticos, also a team that is very close to the bubble, just 1 point ahead of Team Falcons. A win here would also separate them from the other teams nipping at their heels. They've got the blue zone. They've got to push up, and Nogship Red Bulls are ready to mow them down.
Romeo turns the corner, hits the deck, stays safe
to go. They need to keep themselves together. And you can see he's even missing the camera shots sometimes. Revo has been good with it, but will they be good enough? That is the question. Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to get on with the rest of the day. To do that, we're going to head to a break. We'll be back with our final Erangel of the survival stages. Make sure that you stay tuned.
Legionnaire available now. First outfit with special head animations and voice lines. The Pulsar Legionnaire set comes with its own super cute voice lines that can be toggled on or off.
What happened? Bye, friend. Hello, Earth. I'm here.
It also features the upgradable Hyperion ship DSR. And Jet Reaver glider with special animations. Experience parachuting like never before. That's not all. Even more rewards await. Event period, July 25th, 2025 through August 26th, 2025. What are you waiting for? Get the new guild set now.
and they do what Korea does best. They sit in that compound. They're able to get the victory. Good stuff for them here on Erangel.
New
Near the
Pulsar
chopsticks,
Legionnaire
near Gaka,
available now.
doing the business.
First
We've got
outfit
7,
with special
as well as
head
Neptune to talk
animations
about.
and voice lines. The Pulsar Legionnaire set comes with its own super cute voice lines that can be toggled on or
This
off.
one, Neptura. This was Nongshim doing what they do great, which is waiting for the rest of the lobby to come down.
It also features the upgradable Hyperion ship DSR and Jet Reaver glider with special animations. Experience parachuting like never before. That's not all. Even more rewards await. Event period, July 25th, 2025 through August 26th, 2025. What are you waiting for? Get the new Guild set now.
Well, it felt very calm in that compound for Nongshim Red Forces. They were sleeping, waiting for the rest of the lobby to come to them. And they do what Korea does best. They sit in that compound. They're able to get the victory. Good stuff for them here on Erangel. Near the chopsticks, near Gaka, doing the business. We've got 7, as well as Neptura to talk about this one. Neptura, this was Nongshim doing what they do great, which is waiting for the rest of the lobby to come their way and capitalize on it.
Sometimes that's all you need to do.
Yeah.
It really is. Why do anything different? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the saying, and I think they adhered to that really, really well. I will say they would not have won if it wasn't for those incredible roof angles, because that initial nade coming in over to Yangon behind the bale was amazing, and that just turned the tide completely, because Yangon, I still think, could have done something with that, right? They were trying to be maneuverable, trying to be mobile, but that one nade just was like, okay, game over. So a very, very nice sort of end game for them, and 7 eliminations is actually a little bit more than I thought they got, but 17 points, it's a good win.
Good stuff. But Yangon could have had 100 smokes, but the fact that Nongshim Red Force had like 400, 556, as well as all that util 7, it was going to be very difficult for them to make any transition.
Yeah, for Nongshim, I mean, they had nades, and for Yangon too, they've been fighting 2 different teams at that point, so they really didn't have that much left. On top of that, just having to now rotate from the fight between, they were having Regnum Karya, Falcons, having to focus on Nongshim Red Force. It was just going to be a little bit too much for that squad. But I'm going to be looking here towards the bottom. I was actually a bit surprised about Hora overcommitting to a third party between Power and Influence Rage. That was a bit surprising for me, because I felt like they could have just taken their time and just paced it out a little bit longer. Instead, they just saw a fight, they saw an opportunity, they went for it, and it ends up backfiring.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights from this game as well. A lot really focused on these compounds, as well as the chopsticks and how this all does go down, because realistically speaking, Neptura, this is such an open area. If you don't have one of these compounds, if you don't have a chopstick to live in for a while and then get a 3rd or a 4th place, it's going to be hard for everyone else.
That's just the name of the game when it comes to these field zones, isn't it, though? I mean, I think some teams are more used to playing them than others, Falcons being one of them, but they did opt for the chopsticks. It was an interesting rotation actually coming in from Falcons. I want to talk a little bit about that, because Regnum were gatekeeping them on the north side, and I really just felt like actually the Falcons didn't do much. They kind of just stood in front of Regnum and didn't rotate somewhere else. They were like, are we going to push it? Are we not? And for me, I just thought that was just way too long, because it gave Regnum a chance, possibly, to actually come up with a plan of how to take out Falcons completely, right? Gives them time to get that setup going. I'd have much preferred 7 if Falcons had actually rotated down to the eastern side. There's either chopsticks or there's that ridge by the road. Both of those would have worked really well. In the end, they did end up doing that, as did Regnum, but for me, I was like, well, it's a bit dicey.
I kind of disagree with that, because at that point, you had Yangon Galacticos just holding down chopsticks, and then on top of that, you have Regnum Karya and Falcons just trying to find a way. I was actually impressed by the way Falcons was playing that. I really enjoyed that way that they were able to push it, and it's something that I was talking with Max backstage as well during that match, is the way that they were pushing up, using that that utility to their advantage. And in regards to just them wanting to rotate south, it was going to be a bit harder because you still had AXTMG at that point. So I think the scouting came into play there for Falcons, and they ended up making the right decision.
It's tough though because you're circle side, right? So you've got a timer above your head. You've all the pressure is on you to make the right decision. So it's by the by here. Let's actually head over to Barney now, who is ready on the stage actually with Team Vision after they had a great game too.
Welcome back to the main stage here at the Qiddiya Esports Arena. I've got Never Alone joining me from Team Vision. Never Alone, we've got to talk about Map 2. It was such a huge potential turning point for you guys in the survival stage. 13 eliminations, 19 points in total. That actually bumped you up to 10th place as well in our rankings. Give me kind of a breakdown of how you thought that map went. What was going well, what was going not so well? Because you secured a lot of points.
Yeah. So the preparation for the last day is to move quick because we land like in the middle of the map, which is cool. So that's our game plan, and to scout like every place possible. And we got a good spot, and we took advantage of it.
Well, you obviously need a really strong finish, or you need another one of those maps to secure more points, right? You got 1 Erangel, 2 Miramars left on the map. What are you thinking? Like, tell us your strategies, if you can tell us some, and how are you going to solidify your plot spot in the grand finals?
In terms of the last Erangel game, we will play fast as usual, but in Miramar it's difficult to play fast. We will play it depends like on the zone, and we will push and get kills as much as we can.
Keep it steady, keep it strong. I like it. Thank you so much, Never Alone. I really appreciate it. Best of luck in the last 3 maps, and we hope to see you in those grand finals. For now, back to you guys.
Thanks, Barney. Well, a big jump up from Vision after that game 2, of course, here. They're going to need a little bit more, though, here in the survival stage. Let's move to another team, of course.
down to this. Other teams do have the possibility to lap you. We've seen certainly the bar rising inside of this lobby. 16 teams going in, only 8 will make it out. You can see the overall rankings right now from the first half of the day. This is the midway point though, and it's only going to get more and more intense.
Fireflux at the top. Sort of surprising for me, actually. 88 points, which is a fantastic average to be finding, almost a 10-point average during these matches. I think overall, really, really well done to Fireflux. I do think Scarface has been a big influence for them. Though on the other hand of things, there has been a couple of throws today, right? There's been a couple of moments where you feel like they could do a lot better. I mean, Quarry, 4 players alive, all the space in the world, all of a sudden, down to just the 3.
Yeah, not ideal. Not ideal. Overall, though, man, I think, you know, what we've really defined, at least over the course of this first half of day 2, has been the clear disparity between some of our teams. That bottom half of the lobby towards the upper echelons. There's a couple of teams that could still push and upset the rankings, specifically towards place 8. But we'll come back to that. Let's focus up. Playing paths in. We got the zone as well. We can dial in for this game, Blank.
Playing straight drifting right now.
Yeah, it does that. It does that.
Yeah.
Keeps you guessing. It's like a skateboard.
Pretty good. It's going for the old 500x grind on the path. But we're heading over towards the east side. They don't have a lot. They don't have long.
No. It would need to be a meteoric rise, and you know, then you also need the teams above you to really struggle and absolutely fumble the bag for them to be able to make it back in. And of course, you think about the major talking point that comes with that. If they do not make it out, which at the minute seems like a very real possibility, we will have a guaranteed new champion crowned this year.
Absolutely. Now, we take a look at the middle side of the bracket, because I think that is probably most important for us to take a look at. It will be fantastic when we get through to the end of the day and we can crown the winners of the survival stage, who will have the privilege of whacking those keys and the old grinder. But if we look towards that middling section, which is the main contention point, right, for who's going through into the grand finals and who will be leaving us. It is that drop off 59 down to 47, but it's not massively different between 8th and 6th place. You know, 61 down to 59. It's not crazy. I think for Fireflux, it will be very hard to knock them off their podium alongside Arena. I think that they have done quite a lot so far, and they would have to have a horrendous day to finish things off, as well as an incredible pursuit from the teams behind.
Yeah. It's been classic power as well, where it feels like the minute they're in the survival stage, that true sort of might of the team is put on display. They thrive in these kind of lobbies. We've seen that. It's been far more aggressive. You can see them on screen now. Again, the talent on this team, you know, it feels like Easy's been really instrumental to a lot of the setups, and Al Haji as well. You can't think of power without this man.
Yeah, you can't, honestly. I think for me personally, Easy has been a bit more of a factor throughout this tournament so far, at least in the survival stage. I think Al Haji's great, and they certainly lose a lot of that confident demeanor when Al Haji goes down. But it is Easy making a lot of those calls. He's the one who seems the most animated when it comes to watching them over on their desk, in their booths.
He's just looked very crisp with the gun skill as well, which goes the extra mile, mate, in these kind of lobbies. Oh, hang on a minute. Already some action coming our way. Close quarters engagement with Silas starting it off on the peak up. Bullet from the back line though, so Vision giving as good as they get and trying to at least turn them back around. Forced to bail out on that one with the initial crash not kicking off the way they wanted it to. If they got that opening knock, maybe it would have been a different story. Instead, you deviate further back, play off the cover.
Good decision from Regnum Karya. I think when you get towards the end of the day here and you realize you're on the cusp, right? You're almost falling off that edge there. I think that's the smart decision to make. You don't want to go down too early in this one. I think they could have maybe pushed the issue if they were feeling a bit more comfortable. from Regnum Karya. I think when you get towards the end of the day here and you realize you're on the cusp, right? You're almost falling off that edge there. I think that's the smart decision to make. You don't want to go down too early in this one. I think they could have maybe pushed the issue if they were feeling a bit more comfortable.
This is where those more influential decisions of knowing when to call it quits on a fight as well is really going to come in the early game. You'll see the difference in decision making for all these teams. You know, Nongshim Red Force again there, they catch whiff of power immediately. You do not want to run the risk of not being able to really keep accruing points inside of this matchup with the last few games of the day. So just bail out on it early. Think about the bigger picture. No reason to stay around. Both of those teams in similar positions, 75 and 71 points between the both.
There's still opportunity for
early. Think about the bigger picture. No reason to stay around. Both of those teams in similar positions, 75 and 71 points between the both.
There's still opportunity for a crazy run-up. I mean, Influence Rage could get themselves like a 20-point game or more, suddenly be in the running for away. And it was post-game 3 where that started to occur. So right now, aim of the game should be placements. Sometimes that idea of pulling things back a little bit can come back to haunt you, though. In that desperate moment of let's just make it to the end game, let's just get those points, you're leaving games with 1 or 2 points, getting towards a 7th place, but with only the 1 elimination, doesn't really cut it as much as it used to.
Yeah, won't realistically cut the mustard this late into the survival stage.
R8, very, very close to Alpha 7. Already ahead of them in the rankings. Want to stay that way and at least go home with a little bit of pride, a little bit of reputation. They could go for a hunt down over towards Alpha 7, but I'm pretty sure they're quite clear on their position. A little nod over. Push it back, but Ida actually heading further this way. Not allowed.